Sister May looked up and smiled and waved, and that drunk shot a squirt of tobacco juice right in her face.
She was a Hollywood star, so scandalous, so alluring, that even her bad publicity made people flock to the theaters. A woman who stole husbands, won Oscars, and rewrote the rules of celebrity gossip before it was even a thing. This isn't fiction. This is the true story of Elizabeth Taylor, the woman who shook Hollywood to its core. You've probably heard about Elizabeth Taylor's famous marriage to Richard Burton, or maybe you know her as the glamorous dame who befriended Michael Jackson. But what if I told you that Taylor's life was far juicier and more scandalous long before Burton came into the picture? That's right, the Elizabeth Taylor you think you know is just the tip of the iceberg. Born in London in 1932, Elizabeth Rosamond Taylor moved to Los Angeles with her American parents just before the outbreak of World War II. Her striking beauty caught the eye of studio executives, and by age 10, she had already signed with Universal Pictures. But it wasn't long before MGM snatched her up, recognizing the potential in those violet eyes and dark lashes. As a child star, Taylor appeared in films like Lassie Come Home and National Velvet, charming audiences with her precocious talent and angelic face. But as she blossomed into a teenager, it became clear that Taylor was no ordinary starlet. Time magazine put her on its cover, calling her a jewel of great price, a true star sapphire. Little did they know, this jewel was about to cut deep into Hollywood's carefully constructed facade. Taylor's transition from child star to adult actress was seamless, unlike many of her peers who struggled to shed their innocent image. In 1950, at just 18 years old, she starred in Father of the Bride, a role that mirrored her own life as she prepared to marry hotel heir Conrad Nicky Hilton Jr. MGM, ever the opportunists, designed her wedding dress and heavily promoted the nuptials in fan magazines. But this fairy tale wedding was anything but that. Taylor, barely an adult, was trying to escape her overbearing mother. Hilton, it turned out, was an alcoholic who failed to consummate the marriage during their honeymoon. The union lasted a mere 9 months, giving Taylor her first taste of scandal and divorce. Undeterred, Taylor threw herself into her next film, A Place in the Sun. It was here that she revealed a new side of herself, one that would come to define her image for years to come. Playing a seductive socialite opposite Montgomery Clift, Taylor showcased a talent for on-screen sensuality that left even seasoned Hollywood observers stunned. Hedda Hopper, the infamous gossip columnist, was so taken aback by Taylor's performance that she exclaimed, "Elizabeth, where on earth did you ever learn how to make love like that?" The innocent child star had transformed into what Hopper would later describe as a full-fledged man-eating siren. This newly discovered power of seduction didn't stay on the screen. Taylor quickly applied it to her personal life, marrying British actor Michael Wilding in 1952. He was 20 years her senior, but that didn't stop Taylor from having 2 children with him before divorcing him after 5 years of marriage. During this period, Taylor's on-screen persona continued to evolve. She appeared in Giant in 1956 as a socialite turned ranch wife, attracting the affections of both Rock Hudson and James Dean. In Raintree Country in 1957, she played a tempestuous Southern belle who tricks an impressionable young man, played by Montgomery Clift again, into leaving his blonde high school sweetheart. The common theme? Sultry sexual Taylor attracts man, drives plot. It's worth mentioning that she battled numerous health issues throughout her career, including a severe back injury sustained while filming National Velvet. This injury led to chronic pain and multiple surgeries, contributing to her later struggles with prescription painkillers and alcohol. Taylor's physical vulnerabilities, however, only seemed to enhance her allure. Her ability to bounce back from health scares, often looking more radiant than ever, became part of her mystique. But it was Taylor's 3rd marriage that truly set the stage for her reign as Hollywood's premier scandalmonger. In 1957, she wed Mike Todd, a flamboyant film producer who matched Taylor in both passion and extravagance. Their relationship was a whirlwind of luxury and drama, with Taylor later naming Todd as one of the 3 true loves of her life, alongside Richard Burton and diamonds, of course. Todd and Taylor were the epitome of 1950s jet-set glamorous life. They owned multiple homes, traveled the world, and were constantly in the public eye. In a memorable appearance on Edward R. Murrow's Person to Person, Taylor's voice dripped with privilege as she described their lavish lifestyle, sounding such a spoiled bitch, as one observer put it, but impossible not to love. Tragically, Todd died in a plane crash in March 1958, leaving Taylor a widow at just 26. The public sympathy for the widow Todd was overwhelming, but it wouldn't last long, because waiting in the wings was Eddie Fisher, Todd's best friend and the husband of America's sweetheart, Debbie Reynolds. What happened next would cement Taylor's reputation as the evil husband stealer and change the face of celebrity gossip forever. In September 1958, Taylor was photographed spending late nights in New York clubs with Fisher. At first, both denied any impropriety, claiming they were just comforting each other in their grief. But on September 10th, the facade crumbled. Taylor issued a statement that sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. "Eddie is not in love with Debbie and never has been. You can't break up a happy marriage. Debbie and Eddie's never has been." The gloves were off, and Taylor was ready to fight. The ensuing media frenzy was unprecedented. Fan magazines, which had previously been tightly controlled by studio publicists, now had a real-life soap opera to report on. The public was divided into Team Debbie and Team Liz, with most siding with the wronged Reynolds. Taylor was painted as a homewrecker, a temptress who used her feminine wiles to lure Fisher away from his picture-perfect family. One magazine described Reynolds as preferring her own home, 2 infant babies, her garden, and her constant reading of novels and scripts nightly in front of the fire, while Fisher loves all this dearly, but must also go out with people, travel, shake hands, listen, talk, and make friends. The implication was clear. Taylor offered excitement and sin, while Reynolds represented heart and home. But here's the kicker. Taylor did not care. In fact, she seemed to thrive on the negative publicity. MGM, her longtime studio, was initially worried about the scandal's impact on her career, but they soon realized something revolutionary. Bad publicity could actually make people more interested in seeing Taylor's movies. This was a game changer. In the past, studios had gone to great lengths to cover up their stars' indiscretions, using morality clauses and fixers to maintain a squeaky clean image. But Taylor's unapologetic approach to her personal life opened up new possibilities. As one insider put it, there was the possibility, somewhat untested, that even bad publicity could make people want to watch a star's movies, especially when it involved sex, intrigue, and Elizabeth Taylor. And oh, did people want to watch! Taylor's films during this period were some of the most successful and critically acclaimed. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, released in 1958, at the height of the Fisher scandal, saw Taylor prowling around in a white slip, trying to seduce Paul Newman. When her character Maggie yells, "I'm alive!" it's hard not to see the parallel to Taylor's own life. The film's success demonstrated Taylor's uncanny ability to capitalize on her personal scandals. Audiences flocked to theaters, drawn by the promise of seeing the real Elizabeth Taylor, the temptress, the homewrecker on screen. This blurring of lines between Taylor's on-screen and off-screen personas became a hallmark of her career and a blueprint for future Hollywood stars. Throughout this period, Taylor's personal life continued to make headlines. Her relationship with Eddie Fisher was scrutinized relentlessly, with every public appearance dissected for signs of trouble. Yet, Taylor seemed to revel in the attention, using it to fuel her star power rather than shrinking from it. She understood, perhaps better than anyone, that in Hollywood there was no such thing as bad publicity. The film was followed by Suddenly Last Summer in 1959, where Taylor's writhing mambo dance earned her another Oscar nomination. But it was her role as a call girl in Butterfield 8 in 1960 that would finally win her the coveted statuette, though not without controversy. Taylor signed an unprecedented $1 million contract to star in Cleopatra and headed overseas to film. She was a savvy businesswoman who understood her worth in the industry, and this movie made her the first actor to receive $1 million paycheck for a single film. This groundbreaking deal paved the way for other actors and demanded higher salaries and more control over their careers. During production, she contracted pneumonia and was literally on her deathbed. The world held its breath as Taylor hovered between life and death, conveniently just as Oscar voting was taking place. In a twist worthy of a Hollywood script, Taylor recovered just in time to accept the Best Actress Oscar for Butterfield 8 from her hospital bed, her tracheotomy scar visible for all to see. Shirley MacLaine, nominated for The Apartment, quipped, "I lost to a tracheotomy," but the public ate it up. Taylor had managed to transform from villain to vulnerable victim in the blink of an eye. But the Cleopatra drama was far from over. On set, Taylor met her match in the form of Richard Burton, a talented Welsh actor with a reputation for heavy drinking and womanizing. Their affair was explosive, making headlines around the world and even drawing condemnation from the Vatican, which accused Taylor of erotic vagrancy. The Taylor-Burton saga would dominate tabloids for years to come, through 2 marriages, 2 divorces, and countless reunions. Their relationship was tumultuous, passionate, and very public. They starred together in several films, including Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf in 1966, for which Taylor won her 2nd Oscar. Throughout it all, Taylor remained unapologetic about her life choices. By the time she was in her 30s, Taylor had weathered more scandals than most people experience in a lifetime. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about Elizabeth Taylor was her ability to reinvent herself. She went from child star to femme fatale, to serious actress to tabloid fixture, all while maintaining her status as one of the most watched and talked about women in the world. In many ways, Taylor was the prototype for the modern celebrity. She understood, perhaps instinctively, that publicity, good or bad, was currency in Hollywood. She lived her life on her own terms, public opinion be damned, and in doing so, she changed the rules of the game. She was a woman who refused to be confined by society's expectations of Hollywood's rules. She once famously quipped, "I've been through it all, baby. I'm Mother Courage." And indeed, she was.